Where a lot of high-concept games start with big promises and end in scaled-back disappointment, Evolve achieves exactly what it set out to do. Through an array of intelligent design choices, developer Turtle Rock Studios has created a smart, asymmetric multiplayer monster hunting game that plays unlike anything else. It's tactically deep, bursting with character, and once you get past its mildly obtrusive progression system, it offers a level of nuance rarely found in multiplayer shooters. A core concept as novel as assuming control of a hulking behemoth and facing off against 4 player-controlled humanoids could easily have fallen into gimmick territory, if not for the thoughtful way that Hunt, Evolve's core mode, is structured. Having the monsters start out relatively weak, only to feed and grow in power as the match progresses, creates a thick tension for both sides. The monster needs to move quickly and carefully, balancing the need to put distance between themselves and the hunters with the need to find food and keep a low profile. It's a high-stakes tightrope act that requires good map knowledge and a strong grasp of the monster's surprising number of non-combat abilities, like climbing, sneaking, and sniffing around. For as effectively as they exude an intimidating physical presence, playing the monster requires patience and a full understanding of all the tools available. Overpowering the hunters is really just your reward for outsmarting them, which makes carnage like this feel just as satisfying as it looks and sounds. As the hunters, the continually interesting challenge is to find a cunning monster that doesn't want to be found amidst the sprawling, beautifully realized, and densely forested planet of Sheer. Fresh tracks and startled birds are among the more obvious clues, but following them like a breadcrumb trail is rarely enough. You need to reason out where the monster is headed and make effective use of your team's amusing sci-fi gadgets to head off and track down a decent monster player. You might tag tempting wildlife with a tracking dart so that when the monster eats it, you can get a bead on its location, or pursue a fleeing monster with an unmanned drone to give his position away to your teammates. Since every second that passes without the monster in your crosshairs is another step closer it gets to becoming nigh unstoppable, hunts are every bit as thrilling as they are nuanced.
I got you.
The true beauty of Evolve is in the subtle details that flesh out its world, its characters, and its mechanics. Characters preen and pose on the title screen, emoting with a near cartoonish flair that makes each one memorable. From playful pre-match banter,
Well, good as we're gonna get.
to defiant mid-match monster taunting, all the voiceovers are well written and delivered.
No one died! Not even the giant alien dog bear!
Maggie in particular stands out with her fiery intensity and rich family history. Over 30 hours later, I'm still hearing context-sensitive dialogue I've never heard, and much of it provides interesting details about the world beyond the front lines. The real genius behind Evolve's gameplay, though, is the way each character's abilities synergize, and how each has importance beyond its basic functionality. For instance, Val's Trank Gun is primarily used to slow the monster's movement, but since it reveals the monster's position through walls, it allows Cabot to make better use of his structure-penetrating rail cannon. Hank's Orbital Strike might be tough to hit on a moving target, but once Abe tosses out a stasis grenade or two, you can land it no problem. This leads to some rich decision-making at the character select screen, where team composition becomes incredibly important. Will you build a team that excels at catching the monster quickly and force early engagements, or focus more on stability and survivability? Evolve is full of tactical possibility, and fortunately, the AI-controlled bots are good enough to test a lot of this stuff out when playing single player. Annoyingly, some of that possibility sits locked behind a progression system that, while not unreasonable, feels unnecessary. With all 12 hunters, 3 monsters, and all their perks unlocked, Evolve feels complete and fully fleshed out, but getting there can take anywhere from a few hours to a couple of weeks depending on how good you are and how frequently you play. This makes Evolve seem more limited than it actually is at first, which is a shame because once it's all opened up, it's anything but. It's really rare for a big multiplayer AAA release like Evolve to feel so considered and intelligent. Everything, every skill, every mechanic, every design choice seems to interlock in a way that's both natural and purposeful. That it's so mechanically rich and still conveys the raw energy and fun of duking it out with huge monsters and action figure-esque hunters is a real design feat. Its progression system stifles it a bit early on, but regardless, Evolve is a deeply rewarding multiplayer experience that packs both brains and brawn. For more on Evolve, keep it locked to IGN.